I can't think of anything. Just
I was going to say tonight's tagline is sponsored by the sound of the movie that my downstairs neighbors are playing extra effing loudly.
what movie is it? Can you tell?
I don't know. It sounds like Gladiator or something.
Oh, well, let's hopefully entertain our. This is so stupid. Just run the. What's going on, everybody? We are the Cinefanatics. My name's Robert Adams.
I'm Chris Adams.
And we have no fucking idea what it is we're doing tonight. Just, it's that kind of night, y'all.
I guess some idea.
Just a little idea?
Just a sliver of an idea.
There's a sliver of idea. There was an idea. What movie trailer was that? That was one of the Avengers or something, was it? No, it was the 2014 Marvel presentation, the video that Kevin Feige cut to announce Infinity War Part 1 and 2 reused the Sam Jackson quote, "There was an idea."
Is that the one where like they had like every Marvel hero was like saying it? To bring together an extraordinary group of individuals who were doing extraordinary things or something.
Yeah, and then the video ended with like the close-up of the Infinity Gauntlet and it pulled back and you see Thanos behind it and the whole crowd just loses their mind. I love that video.
I feel like you talked about that recently.
Yeah, I did. I mentioned it on something else too. I can't remember what. Maybe Tagline last week. I don't know. I just really love that video. Those hype building videos. They're so good. Hello there, Brennan Mystical Marr.
Of all days to pop into the chat and say hello there.
Hello there. We'll talk about that trailer here in a little bit. Before we get started, like typically we like at the top of the show there to talk about the YouTube things. First thing I want to talk about is something a little more personal to us. We have a couple of mods that share a birthday today. I don't know if they're here yet, but we will go ahead and shout them out real quick. First would be Miss Amber Coates. So happy birthday to you. You know what that means. They're singing happy birthday.
Oh. She's in Vegas right now, so I don't know if she's going to pop in at all.
Mm-hmm.
But if she does, we will also then again probably repeat it.
Yeah. And then the other one would be Mr. Vernon Greene from A Fan's View. Happy birthday to you, sir. They're singing happy birthday. I don't know if Vernon's watched Tick Tick Boom yet. We'll have to ask him when we do like a fan's view of Tick Tick Boom or something.
Every human needs to watch Tick Tick Boom at least once. I understand if like you watch it and it's like it's not your cup of tea. I get it. It's fine. I think you're wrong, but it's fine. But every human needs to watch it at least once.
Yes. Anyone who has dreams, anyone who wants to be creative, who has goals, and
anybody who's in their late 20s and early 30s.
Anyone who's just tired of the stress of life, that's a movie for everyone.
Anybody whose name is Chris Adams or Taylor Robinson.
Robert Adams.
I specifically mentioned her. If you get on Twitter, you'll see the long conversation that we had with her because I watched it again last night. So
it's been a week, so I'm about due for another watch. I was just watching like Infinity War again the other day.
It's been a week, so you're due for another watch.
Yeah. That's pretty much how that movie works. So, anyways, happy birthday to our moderators there. Thank y'all for being who you are and supportive and everything. So, that being said, let's ask for some money. Streamlabs.com/Cinefanatics. You got any questions, comments, issues, complaints?
Take it up with management.
Streamlabs.com/Cinefanatics is a good way for us to see it. Also, Patreon.com/Cinefanatics. Hop on the tier that's good for you. Coming up, we do have our movie trivia hangout. If you are on the Maverick tier or higher, that will be on the 14th, I believe. What day is the 14th? That's a Tuesday, isn't it? I believe.
It sounds like a Tuesday. It's
a Monday.
Tuesday energy.
It's a Monday.
Energy.
Monday the 14th. Yes.
It's a Monday with Tuesday energy. Isn't that Pi Day?
That is Pi Day. Yeah, 3/14.
We should have some pie that night. We should all have pie while doing trivia.
Yeah. Bonus points to whoever has the best pie. Anyways, so that will be on the 14th. That's going to be at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. So Monday the 14th if you're at the Maverick tier. If you're at the $5 due tier, we are doing a movie watch along on St. Patrick's Day. It is on March 17th at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. We did a poll on Twitter, and it ended in a tie. So we were tied between...
Useless!
We were tied between either watching Leprechaun, which would make sense on St. Patrick's Day. Plus, it's one of those like goofy, cheesy horror movies that I think like it's just a lot of fun to watch. Again, my brother doesn't like horror movies, but I believe it's one that he can watch without any problem. So, like I also think it's like one of like Jennifer Aniston's first movies, if not her actual first movie. But stupid, cheesy, a lot of fun. And then the other one's Batman Begins. So we are going. We all appreciate Batman Begins, right? I mean, we know Batman Begins. I don't need to defend why we want to watch Batman Begins.
Should have been S tier.
Yeah. Shut up with your takes on Batman movies. You don't get an opinion anymore. Mister, I put Batman 89 under Batman and Robin. What the what's wrong with you?
That is a thing that happened.
Oh. Anyways, so what we are doing is a tiebreaker poll. If you are actually a part of our Patreon, there is a poll on our Patreon right now. It's a post up. You can vote on it right now. We are voting only between Leprechaun and Batman Begins. You've got till a little over an hour right now before that poll is going to automatically close, and we will announce at the end of the show what movie we are watching. So
I can tell you which one it looks like right now.
Yeah. I know which one it looks like right now. But go vote in that poll. If you are a Patreon member, we will announce it at the end of this.
Side note, I'm about to have a mental breakdown.
Okay.
When we get to the box office, the number 9 movie on the box office is a movie from overseas that has a title that I'm going to have a hell of a time trying to say.
I was going to say, so when we get to number 9, is it because of that SNL sketch this past weekend, Paw Patrol popped back up in the top 10?
No, that'd be funny, though.
That would be hilarious.
I mean, that would be awful. That'd be horrible. That'd be the worst thing.
That would be so funny.
No, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best. Can I find out what movie this is?
Hey, Vernon's in here. Hey, Vernon, guess what? It's your birthday. Birthday. Actually, I would almost say, like, again, I commented a little while ago, Vernon. I don't know if you've seen Tick, Tick, Boom, and if so, we need to watch that for a fan's view of film favorites. But I also just noticed that I was saying, it's your birthday. And the first thing that made me think of is the ringtone for Tree's ringtone in Happy Death Day. It's your birthday. I ain't gonna pick up my phone. Yeah. So I figured that would be a good one to get a clip out for as well. So depending on who it is, who I feel is most appropriate on that. Speaking of fan favorites, or a fan's view of film favorites, fan favorites would be the new movie trivia Schmodown team, headed by fan favorite Adam Witt, who we absolutely love. Speaking of a fan's view of film favorites, later tonight we will be doing a fan's view of film favorites, The Mask. That will be over on Vernon's YouTube channel, a fan's view. That's going to be 8:35 Pacific, 11:35 Eastern. I believe I have those times right. So, yeah, come watch The Mask with us. I haven't seen The Mask in a long-ass time.
I rewatched it like maybe a year and a half ago.
Yeah, it's been like probably a good couple of years since I've watched it. But I love that movie. So
it holds up in most ways. It's solid.
Yeah. Anyways, that's gonna be fun. What else is going on? You've been doing like a lot of streaming lately. Like you're like daily twitching now.
Oh, I mean, I was daily twitching before getting on to the website Twitch, but
yeah.
No, I've been really enjoying it. Like I say the words "it's been," and all of a sudden in my head, it's been 1 week since you looked.
Birchmont Stadium, home of the Robbie.
Yeah, it's been a good time though. I really enjoy it. I think we're doing some good stuff there. This week, I meant to do a little bit today, but there's just been so much going on today. I'm looking into getting those Jackbox games going. So I'm going to be clearing some space on my computer to make sure I have room for Steam. So I can download Steam so we can download Jackbox games and play Jackbox games as a family.
Is that how it works?
That's how it works. I mean, I can get them for Switch, but it costs more than the amount of money that people donated for me to buy them. So I'd kind of like to see if I can get it through Steam, which I believe is a free download anyway. So
yeah, there might be another reason that you definitely need to do it through Steam, which I can talk to you about later. But anyways,
ease of OBS-ness.
Yes, that too. Anyways, yeah, I'm eager for you to get the Jackbox games because I want to play those too. I like Jackbox.
This is true. The Smasher Pass. Wonderful idea by Tori. We all know Tori. She had that idea, brought her on. We did the first half. We got the second half coming down the way there. It's a hilariously fun time.
Yeah. I don't think I've done anything over this past week or so. It's just work as usual. Yeah.
Where's that Robert Downey Jr. from Tropic Thunder? Survive.
I don't know if I'm allowed to use that.
Sure. There's nothing wrong about that.
Yeah, so I'm still in recovery mode from all of the massive amounts of political talk that we did on the tagline last week, which was a lot of fun. Which, if you remember correctly, it also involved one of our favorite birthday girls, Amber Coates.
Okay, she's not even here.
I know, but do I need a real reason to play that? Do I need an excuse? Can I just play that all day?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Anyways. I don't think there was much of anything. We can talk about real quick what the hell happened during the marquee. Where did all of our weird Batman choices and opinions and everything just go all haywire all over the place?
Wait,
what? And by us, weird, I mean you.
What weird Batman?
Happy birthday.
Yeah. Okay.
Distraction.
Yeah. Needless to say, I feel like that marquee episode was highly successful. I can't wait to find something else that's super controversial that we can rate, and we'll just get all of your crap takes on those too.
No, you're gonna have some crap takes at some point. You do not get to sit on the sidelines and expect that you are scot-free of all crap takes for all movies ever. I'm allowed some every now and then, and by golly, I'm gonna stick to them because it's good TV.
I mean, do I have any crappy takes? Do you know of any that I have off the top of your head?
Yeah, you don't like La La Land. Ass.
It's not a crap take. That's a general consensus amongst most of the population.
Nope, it's a crap take. This doesn't really work for the format of the overlay here. I think he just kind of accidentally did that, maybe. There he goes. Yep,
that's what happens. That's what happens when you are wrong about your crap takes. I just up and nope. Anyways, what movies have you watched this past week? Anything new?
Yeah, I watched Pacific Rim.
You hadn't seen that already?
I hadn't seen that already. Go figure. There's a reason for that. It's very fine. It's very okay. It is just a solidly mid-action blockbuster movie.
I feel like you have to be kind of a fan of the kaiju type movies anyways. So I'm not a huge fan of Godzilla or King Kong. So therefore I didn't like Pacific Rim that much either.
I don't mind that stuff. I think it's fun. I think giant monsters destroying city is a lot of fun. I think it's really cool. I like the action between them, except that it's one of those situations like Transformers where at some point there was just a mess of monster flesh and robot parts, and I had no idea what was happening, which I expected, but also sure.
I wonder how many times that happens. The filmmakers, the editors, the special effects artists, they're sitting there man, we are making a conglomerate of metal and weird monster. We could just sneak a penis in here. I wonder if the audience would catch that.
Right.
I believe that was a big metal penis on that robot. Oh, that was just a forearm. Don't worry about it. Man, if that's a forearm, I don't know what we're doing with this. Moving on.
Yeah. So anyway, Pacific Rim was fine. I still need to watch the sequel. Which here's the thing. Like, point of contention here for me. They have the first one on HBO Max, right? I was all set. I watched the first one Monday night, and then Tuesday night, last night, I was gonna be like, all right, I'm settled in. We're done with Twitch streaming. Let's just throw on Pacific Rim 2. Let's just check it out. I already watched the first one. All right, HBO Max, what do you got for me? And y'all only have the first one on here. What? Why? Why do you not have both of them on here? Yes, that's right. In a world that's in upheaval right now, and all the things that I could be complaining about, Florida, Texas, whatever, all this stuff, I'm complaining about the fact that HBO Max does not have the second one when they have the first one on there. What the hell? Anyway.
Better be careful with that soapbox. It's going to be crushed under the massive weight of your need and desire for Pacific Rim Uprising or whatever it was called.
Until I see it, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to hate it, and therefore will have been glad that HBO Max didn't have it for their sake.
It was funny. So I just said I don't like kaiju movies or whatever too much, but I did like Power Rangers, and I don't know why. Like the TV series when it first came out, up until like it became Zeo, I liked Power Rangers, and it's pretty much the same idea.
Right age, right place,
I guess. So the only thing new that I caught up on is Interview with the Vampire, and we did that on the Fans View of Film Favorites last week. Never seen it before. It was very interesting. Did talk a lot through it, but I was able to still kind of like follow what was going on. And Good Time, which I just watched last night because everyone was saying that if you've seen the Batman, you've seen Robert Pattinson, and you haven't seen Good Time, and everyone is absolutely correct on that.
I was telling you.
Yeah.
I was telling you when he was casted as Batman, and you were like, Robert Pattinson is gonna be Batman, and I was like, watch Good Time.
Yeah. He was really good in that movie. So yeah, if y'all haven't seen Good Time yet, especially if you are someone who's like, I don't know if he's going to be good in Batman, or if you watched Batman already, the Batman, and you saw his performance in that, now you're like, okay, I need more of like this kind of like not sparkly vampire Robert Pattinson. Good Time would be a good movie to watch. It would be
Also,
a good time.
It would be a good time. Well, the movie's a good movie, but it's not a good time. I'll tell you that much. Here's the thing. Fair warning for all those who may want to watch it and haven't yet. It's a very anxiety-driven movie.
Yeah.
Along with, like, if you've seen Uncut Gems, it's both movies by the Safdie brothers. They are very much about trying to use the music, camera angles, shots, situations, dialogue, everything that they can to drive anxiety about the situation into you, which they're good stories, but just the way everything comes together is very like,
yeah. I think Uncut Gems did it more.
Uncut Gems was worse, yeah.
Uncut Gems was just the entire time is like anxiety, nerve-wracking, just
like Uncut Gems was like a bunch of people talking at a very high level over each other the entire time.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all it was the entire way through. Plus the music, the score was just kind of grating a little bit, but they do a really good job of these movies. Like they're actually really good movies. So,
yeah. Before we get into any of the movie news and stuff coming up, we are going to talk about spoilers for the Batman a little later. Kind of like how we've talked about spoilers for new movies. We will put the banner up at or whatever this thingy. We will put that up to like let you know that we are talking about spoilers. Mute if you don't want to hear it. And yeah, we'll let you know like well ahead of time that we're about to talk spoilers. So, anyways, let's go ahead and jump into some movie news.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. This is what's happening in your world tonight.
We apologize for the interruption.
Back to you.
Very interesting. How's that box office looking?
it's looking like a box office, y'all.
Is Paw Patrol back in it?
No, Paw Patrol is not back in it. I know SNL tried. They tried, but no. Y'all remember when we didn't have a box office?
Mm-hmm.
God, it was like 2 years ago.
It's probably like a year ago.
2021.
Yeah.
We had movies in February, March.
They start.
More than
I think that we were starting to slowly come back out again.
Slowly coming back out, yeah. So here's the thing: we got a box office again. Like, there's movies coming in. People are going to see them. They're making money. Love it. Love to see it. Everyone thought the movie.
They're raising ticket prices.
They're raising ticket prices. Everyone thought the movie theater would die. It did not die. It is thriving. It is alive.
That's also why they are raising ticket prices.
Could be. That very well could be. Here's the thing. We've got a box office. We got a top 10. Let me run through this real quick. We're going to have problems at number 9, but just stick with me. Can we guess what number 1 is? I love asking the question. Can you guess?
I don't know. What came out this past week? Any movie? Like Satan the movie?
No.
Another adaptation of Ferdinand the Bull?
How many of these you got?
Optimus Prime the movie. Oh, they made another Short Circuit. I mean, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel here with this.
Autobots, we got to get the Allspark. No, it's
Johnny
Batman.
5 alive again. Oh, Batman. Yeah, that was my next one.
Movie we're going to talk about later. Good God. Okay. The Batman's number 1. Look at that. It made $134 million domestically. That is a solid number for an opening weekend.
I want to make a Batman movie where I can make $134 million domestically. Jeez.
Yeah, but you have to spend like twice that amount first.
So I will make a Batman movie. Those of y'all who are watching, hop on to patreon.com/CinephineX to help fund this. If you also would like to donate to streamlabs.com/CinephineX so I can create the Batman movie that's also going to get me $134 million. And then I will take everybody out for pizza.
Good luck. Batman's number 1.
Damn good pizza, though.
It better be that pizza with like the gold flakes or whatever on top of it.
And Wagyu beef and yeah.
It's a Wagyu beef on a pizza. Anyway, number 1 is the Batman. Number 2 is Uncharted, moving from the number 1 spot last week. Number 3 is Dog. Not Paw Patrol. Dog. I love the title of this movie. It's just Dog.
Well, last year we had Pig and Lamb. I mean, like, is this a part 3 of like George Orwell's Animal Farm?
2019 we had Cats.
That doesn't count. No, no.
It could.
It won't.
Could be part of that cinematic universe. It'd be fun.
No, it wouldn't.
No,
come on. Something involving cats would be fun.
Oh, yes, because you picture this with me real quick. We'll get back to the box office and just say, picture this.
You're not about to ask me to picture cats, right?
No. Picture Nicolas Cage interacting with cats.
I mean, that would be a great reaction video.
And the Lamb Child.
And the Lamb Child. Even the Lamb Child's like,
and Channing Tatum for no reason.
This. Huh?
And Channing Tatum for no reason.
Okay.
Dog.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's that Channing Tatum movie. Okay. I was like, I can't remember what this dog movie was. Yeah. The like dog with PTSD or something like that.
I'm saying box office gold. Anyway, speaking of box office, let's move on. Number 4, we got Spider-Man No Way Home. Again, Tom Holland is taking up 2 spots in the top 5, which is fantastic for his career. Number 5 is Death on the Nile. Number 6 is Sing 2. Number 7, Jackass Forever. Number 8, surprisingly still behind Jackass Forever, Cyrano. And then number 9,
it's weird.
I believe is from India? Let's be careful about being fully American here, not knowing where other movies are coming from.
I almost like want to pull this up so I can see what it is that you're about to say.
The title of this movie is Gangubai Kathiawadi. It could be Kathiawadi. I don't know specific pronunciations, but
yeah, Gangubai Kathiawadi. Yeah, that sounds close.
That's how my white boy American ass would probably say that name. So if it's wrong, I apologize. Number 10 is Scream. So there you go. There's your top 10. Studio 666 did not stay in the top 10. Surprise, surprise.
I think we mentioned this last weekend, though, is that Scream is still in the top 10, even though it's now available digitally.
Which is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, for a movie to still stay in the top 10 when it's available at home while we're still like in a pandemic, that's kind of impressive.
Also, it should be note that Moonfall is moonfalling still to number 20. It was at 14 last week.
Really? Did you really need to make that joke?
As long as it's in the box office, I'm probably going to keep hitting that. That's good stuff.
Okay. The only other one that I'm like slightly interested in that I've been hearing more and more good things about, it wasn't in the top 10, obviously, because you didn't say it just now, but After Yang, which also stars Colin Farrell.
Mm-hmm.
So Colin Farrell was in 2 movies that came out this weekend. One of them you can recognize him in. Yeah, so I'm kind of curious of that. I've heard so much good things about that. It almost sounds like it's a movie that would be released to like bait the Oscars if it wasn't for the fact that the Oscars are actually like in a couple of days,
Right.
or weeks or so, a couple of weeks. Anyways, so speaking of counting down to Oscars and stuff, we will be doing a live stream watch along of the Oscars like we typically do. I don't know how we're going to do it yet, but that is coming up on the horizon. That is on, I believe, Sunday, the 27th of this month. So,
yep.
That is coming down the pike. I don't know why I've been saying that lately.
I just say coming down the way.
Yeah. Also, and we should have probably mentioned this at the top of the show. This is episode number 91 of the Tagline. So we've got 9 more episodes to go before we hit episode 100. We will be doing something fun, exciting, unusual for episode 100. Maybe we'll eat hot wings while guessing movie trivia. I don't know. Well, you don't like that idea? Seems like it would be a fun idea to do.
It's a literal shit idea.
Hot burning.
To do again. It was fun the first time. Ish. Fun.
You're like, why? I know what's coming. This is a bad idea.
The next day wasn't, but
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is.
Anyways, so yep, stay tuned for that. That is coming down. Garth, we should have had a Pirates movie watch along. That's funny. I was like, we should have done a watch along of the movie Pie, but I feel like most of our audience would be like,
American Pie. Oh, we
that
missed
would be
it.
good too.
Missed a chance.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, let's get through some like quickie news. Quickie news real quick. Apparently there's going to be a Lion King 2. I guess this is like a sequel to the live action, but it's actually going to be a prequel, being directed by Barry Jenkins, and it's supposed to be a prequel involving Mufasa, and I'm going to guess like with Scar as well. So like Scar is going to be like the antagonist in that also, or he's going to be slightly antagonistic just because he's not full out like evil villain at the beginning of Lion King. Like Mufasa still keeps him around and whatnot. So
Yeah.
that would be interesting. I saw that this was directed by Barry Jenkins. I was like, oh hell yeah, on board easily. Like
Well, we knew he was going to do the sequel
Yeah.
since they announced it pretty much.
I'm kind of curious if they're going to go back and make the actual lions like emote.
Probably not, because it'd be very jarring to go from the first live action Lion King to having a prequel where they look completely different. I think they're going to keep it the same art style.
Yeah, we'll see on that. Fede Alvarez is going to direct Alien 5. Ridley Scott to produce. So this is not like some other standalone movie. This is a sequel to like 1997's Alien Resurrection. Supposedly this isn't going to involve any of the characters. So this movie will have like absolutely nothing to do with Ripley, supposedly. So this was what I saw this on Twitter. I was like, Fede Alvarez is going to direct this. This was the guy who directed the Evil Dead reboot thing in 2013, which was really good. And he also directed Don't Breathe. I was like, oh, okay, so Alien 5. So instead of the chest bursters to reproduce, are they using the turkey baster now? Ew.
Bit.
Those of y'all who've seen Don't Breathe, you get that joke. If you haven't seen Don't Breathe, don't worry about it. But Ridley Scott's still producing. Last I heard, Ridley Scott was still wanting to do another sequel to Alien Covenant, because he went back and he was trying to do prequels. So he did like Prometheus, Alien Covenant, and now he was wanting to do another one, but I guess that's falling through. I know you have no interest in the Alien movies quite yet, so.
As far as an Alien 5, no, I don't really.
Yeah. Florence Pugh is supposedly signing up to join the cast of Dune 2.
Pune!
Pune?
Pune!
Pugh and Dune?
Pune!
Dune with Pugh?
Pune.
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 I'm not exactly sure who she's playing. I could have sworn I saw like someone saying that she was like some other like princess. I don't know if she's from like another world, because I'm expecting the next movie is going to involve a lot more other worlds coming together for this like massive fight that's going to happen. So I don't know if she's coming from another world or if she's like another like member of the Fremen or something like that. But I am a fan of Florence Pugh in pretty much anything she's in. So this one's interesting. Today it was just announced that Rob Zombie's movie of The Munsters, based on the old TV show, his Munsters movie is rated PG.
What
the hell?
What?
Rob Zombie's making a movie about something creepy, and it's PG.
Is it live action or animated?
It's live action.
What? First of all, there's a movie rated PG. Yeah, I guess Pixar's still rated PG, but
yeah, like not everything is always going to be like rated R or PG-13, but yeah, PG for a Rob Zombie movie, that's weird. Especially like he still sticks with like his like familiar cast, like Sherry Moon Zombie is. I'm losing my voice. I don't know what's going on. I'm sounding like an old man now.
You are.
Sherry Moon Zombie is playing Lily Munster. So
Lily,
yeah, the matriarch of the family. So, yeah, Jeremy Miller saying Fede is a decent director. I don't think he's a right choice for it. Yeah, a lot of his stuff has still been like fairly like enclosed, like say like within a house and involving a small group of people. I don't know how he's gonna do hitting that sci-fi angle. He's good for terror. He's got the terror note down easily. He's great at building suspense, as seen in Don't Breathe. He's great at like the gore and the effects directions, especially if doing anything practical, as we saw in Evil Dead. So I trust him on like for that, but yeah, I'd be questioning like how's his skills as far as sci-fi goes, because that's a whole nother monster right there. And then you're saying I hope Noah Hawley's FX series is good. I'm kind of eager for that as well. So
it's a whole other monster.
Yeah, whole nother monster. That's great.
Monster.
Let's talk about that Obi-Wan trailer real quick.
Obi-Wan.
The hell did they do to this Grand Inquisitor looking dude?
That's the conversation that everyone's having, isn't it? His head is not as elongated as it was in Rebels.
He had like this look like Grand Moff Tarkin. He was like the tall, slender, gangly, but still like imposing power look. And now he looks like he shops like frequently at the deli meat section at the local grocery store. Like, I would like the fresh pepperoni and the Genoa salami, please.
Right. Well, his alien species is that species on that planet Utapau in Revenge of the Sith. The ones who were being taken captive by Grievous, essentially.
We don't have any war here unless you brought it with you. That guy.
They're on the third level. They're watching. They have eyes everywhere. They're watching us. Yeah. Those guys. In which case, in live action, they have already shown us this alien species with the large dome. So it's interesting, especially because of how he looks in the animated, that they didn't do a little bit more of a prosthetic situation with his head. But regardless, I think it's fascinating to bring the Inquisitors into live action. You haven't seen Rebels, but they are a interesting grouping of characters who are sole purpose is to just hunt down any and all Jedi that might still exist somewhere. That is their job. So to see them kind of have at it, and for us to see essentially Rebels being brought into live action to a degree is kind of interesting, because we are talking about Rebels era. This is, maybe 5 or so. I don't know really the time span here, but maybe like 5 or so years, I think, before Rebels starts. Because Obi-Wan in the Rebels cartoon, for his minor appearance in that cartoon, did look as how we're used to Obi-Wan looking in A New Hope. He already had the gray hair.
10 years after Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. The Obi-Wan series is? Or Rebels? Obi-Wan. Okay.
Oh, Obi-Wan.
Yeah, so we're looking at a little bit more time, obviously, 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, so Luke is 10. So we're looking at another 8 years. Obi-Wan gets pretty gray, which I buy. I actually do buy that. I do buy it, because he's living on a desert planet. Who knows what kind of mischief he's going to get up to that we see happening in this trailer already. I buy it. But what I do like is that they are bringing these Inquisitors into live action. I didn't think about that. Before they were announcing casting and who was playing who and what and why and where, I didn't think about seeing the Inquisitors in live action. That just never crossed my mind. But I think seeing what they're doing and seeing some of them translated already, I think it's going to be very, very interesting. Especially as Garth brought up here, the spinning lightsabers they fly with. So yeah, they actually have like these circular disc things that they can hold on to that spin around, that have like lightsabers, kind of like Darth Maul's situation, where it's like a two-bladed lightsaber, but it just spins around, and they can use it as like a helicopter, and they can like fly and land in on things with those things. I'm like, yo, give me that in live action. That'll be dope.
Interesting. Yeah, so they are supposed to be showing Vader, because they do actually have Hayden Christensen signed up to play Vader again.
From what it was reported, I don't know if it was an accurate report, but it sounds like they're going to have like 2 fights between Obi-Wan and Vader in the series.
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder what they're going to do with that. So from the trailer, we saw like Obi-Wan is watching like 10-year-old Luke as he grows up. Apparently, I guess Obi-Wan is like physically going and visiting with Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, because both of them, Joel Edgerton and Bonnie Please, are both also in the show as well. Which I want to say big kudos to her, because she was one of those members. If y'all remember that Nexium, she was a part of that Nexium. She was one of the first members to like get out of Nexium. That whole cult thing that Allison Mack from Smallville was a part of. Bonnie Please was one of the first ones out of that. So I'm super happy that she gets to revisit this character that she had before that whole Nexium ordeal. So I've watched the documentary on HBO about it. Just really excited to see her again. Yeah, I don't know what else, like, other than like the weirdness of like the Grand Inquisitor. They really didn't show, I would say, too much, only that Obi-Wan is going to get up to like some shenanigans.
It's very much a teaser. Yeah, it's very much a teaser. They're doing a lot of like really interesting stuff with it. They are keeping they have kept a lot of stuff away from eyes in that trailer. There's a lot of stuff I think is going to happen in this series that we don't even have a hint at so far, even in that trailer. So I think I'm expecting this to be a really, really actually good show.
I wonder if we'll see like the baby Yoda, like baby Groot, not baby Groot, baby Grogu.
Got
my cute little G named aliens mixed up there.
Shame on your cow. Shame on your family. Whatever. I'm your family. God dang it.
Baby Grogu. Are we going to see like cute little baby Grogu? in this.
No, he would only be what?
Like 5?
20?
Yeah, it's probably something. Yeah, probably more like that, given the age range of it. But I mean, like, he was saved at the end of episode 3, so maybe we'll see who saves him. It'd be kind of interesting if they put him in there.
If it turns out it's Obi-Wan that saved Grogu,
I don't know, but like, I wouldn't doubt if this show begins with them showing like the Order 66 going off, and you see Obi-Wan is like talking to someone over like a comm link, or I'm doing like the Apple Watch, like Dick Tracy or something here, and yeah, what's going on? And you just happen to see like random like person, some random Jedi running in the background holding Grogu, and like you can just barely make it out, but it's just a nice little like blink and you miss it type of nod. That would be kind of cool.
Who knows?
I would like to see something like that.
I mean, there's no shot we're not getting some flashbacks. We're definitely getting some like Clone Wars era flashbacks between Anakin and Obi-Wan. We have to. I mean, they're bringing Hayden Christensen back. If they're bringing him back, they're going to do Vader without his helmet in some capacity, whether that's flashbacks or we just see Vader without his helmet at one point. But you don't bring Hayden Christensen back to play Vader without doing something else with him, because you could get anybody to just wear the suit.
I was gonna say maybe they're just using his voice.
No, I mean maybe. I don't know if how much James Earl Jones is still wanting to do his voice, or still able to do his voice. They're gonna have to retire him doing the voice here pretty soon, I bet, because he's getting old.
Yeah.
But regardless, they're gonna do something. They're gonna do something with Hayden Christensen, flashbacks of Clone Wars or something. And I think we're gonna get some good stuff. We're gonna get some fun stuff out of that.
The other thing we haven't mentioned from the trailer was, how was that feeling when you heard Duel of the Fates kick in again? That was good.
Mm-hmm. It did, didn't it? It did, didn't it? It did, didn't it?
It did.
Didn't it? Anyway.
Yes. Yeah, I know. That Brian George video.
Yep. Yeah, so Obi-Wan trailer. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm looking forward to that series. It comes out in May, I believe. So
End of May. Couldn't do it around May 4th, could you?
No, but they are doing it when A New Hope first came out. They're doing it on the anniversary of A New Hope. So no, they're not doing it on May 4th, but they do have a good date for it.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. So one other big piece of movie news before we start talking about Batman spoilers. Warner Brothers decided to move like almost their entire slate of movies around.
For reasons.
For weird reasons. So real quick, I just want to like go through this. So DC League of Super Pets has moved from May 20th to July 29th. What was at July 29th, Black Adam, is now moving to October 21st. Shazam! Fury of the Gods, which was supposed to come out June of next year, is now coming out December of this year, which was where Aquaman 2 was at, which is now being pushed to March 17th of next year. Flash was supposed to be November of this year, is moving to June of next year. Then we've got the Wonka remake with Timothée Chalamet is moving from March of next year to December of next year. And then I guess they just announced that The Meg 2 is coming out August of next year. Here's the thing. Wasn't it like not even a month ago we got like this like little trailer about the DC movies and all like the cool shots of like with like Dr. Fate and all these like awesome shots and whatever, and they're all like the heroes come home 2022, and we're like, guess not. They're all moving.
A couple of them come home in 2023.
A few of them will be here. The rest of them will be. We're just waiting for next year, and they'll come home next year as well. Like
Aquaman's slightly delayed because he's got a few more fish to. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, he's got a few more fish. He's got yeah. So speaking of which, I did finish watching all of the Peacemaker, the TV show. It was really good. It's a good show. I enjoyed it. So I also just finished that Pam and Tommy show last night. That was pretty decent. If y'all have any curiosity as to what exactly happened with Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee, especially involving that sex tape back in the 90s when the internet was first started, it seems like it does pretty well telling that story. Some of it is sensualized. A lot of it is dramatized for a TV show, but it is sensualized also. There's a lot of sensual stuff in that.
Yep.
But
it's not a rumor.
What rumor?
Talking about Aquaman.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, yeah, so all these movies moving around. I'm just wondering if maybe they just saw that like their slate of movies was like really jam-packed in 2022, and they might have done like, hey, we're kind of like overcompensating for the fact that we didn't have that many movies coming out this past year, especially because most of the movies that did come out last year also came out on HBO Max as well.
It's just interesting to me, though, the switch of moving Shazam up from summer next year to winter this year. I guess fall, but
are they trying to make it a Christmas movie again? Because the first movie, at least the end of the first movie took place during Christmas.
I don't know. I think what they're wanting to do, and I feel like I respect this decision, is the connection between Black Adam and Shazam. Shazam. They're wanting to just drive that home, it seems like, and so they're wanting to do them back to back from October to December, which I feel like that does make sense from a getting your characters known to the public and what they represent to each other kind of a standpoint. It remains to be seen what they actually do between them, if they're painting Black Adam as more of a hero than a villain. But
I can tell you exactly what they're going to do with that. The end of Black Adam, there's going to be a post-credit scene where he notices Shazam and he kind of sees the similarity in the power and the suit and everything, and he's like, I've got to take him down. And then Black Adam will show up in a post-credit scene for Shazam Fury of the Gods, setting up Shazam 3 with the two of them fighting.
So they're gonna paint them as more of a rivalry than like
arch exactly what they're going to do.
And we're going to have like a Batman versus Superman type situation where they're fighting for 2 minutes. They're setting up the entire movie for them to fight. Then they're going to fight for 2 minutes. Someone's going to say Martha, and then they're going to be on each other's side.
Now, you got to remember that little caterpillar thing from the first Shazam movie is also still out there. So,
oh, yeah, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, so it may take both Shazam and Black Adam to stop the caterpillar.
What? This is cinema. This is cinema right here.
It is. I know Garth's in the chat waiting to get after me about like just referring to him as the caterpillar instead of the character's actual name, which I completely forgot off the top of my head right now. I do know it. I am familiar with it. I just can't pull it right now. But yeah,
it's fun to just call it the caterpillar.
It's also funnier just to say the caterpillar. These two muscle-bound men are having to take on
a bug,
a caterpillar. Mr. Mind, that was it. Mr. Mind is the caterpillar's name.
Mine, Mr. Mine.
Nah, I thought he had a bigger, like, more, like, powerful sounding name.
I liked him in Detective Pikachu. He was a lot of
fun. Mr. Mime.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know Pokemon.
Yeah, you don't. No, not at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm okay with a lot of this, because here's the thing. Like, well, so Flash is supposed to be November, Aquaman is supposed to be December, and they're moving to next year. Look, they were already slated for the end of this year, so they're already like almost a whole year away still. I mean,
yeah,
a few months, but
so I'm not really like missing anything here. I wasn't counting on them anyway, so
it's not really, it's no skin off my teeth to have to wait like a whole nother half a year for these movies.
I just wish, and I hate the fact that this is something that not only us but people in general are doing. The constant comparison between DC and Marvel. Why can't DC just get it together?
Pull it together, WB.
It's
what are you doing?
Hard. You get one showrunner, get your Kevin Feige, and lay everything out. You have meetings, you have planning, you have story ideas. Like, how hard is it to get all this like a nice tight knit package? Just it's aggravating that you can see one studio doing it so well, and another studio definitely could do it also, but doesn't.
It's very hard because WB likes to be more hands-on controlling at this point than Disney does.
Mm-hmm.
As it seems. Disney's, I think, more hands-on controlling with certain properties, but with like Lucasfilm and with Marvel, they're like, you guys are successful. We bought you to have you continue doing what you do.
Yeah.
And so Disney's hands-off. Now, granted, Marvel as a studio in itself is very hands-on when it comes to like the directors and everything, but there's good reason for that. It's because they have a clear, concise plan. Feige knows what he's doing.
They're hiring specific directors for specific reasons. There's a reason that when Scott Derrickson wasn't able to do Multiverse of Madness, that the next that they went to was Sam Raimi. There's something about that movie that is going to be within Sam Raimi's wheelhouse, and that's what Feige and Marvel and Disney want. So, you can definitely see that in the way that they run their show over there.
It is curious though, because with the success of the Batman, and we are acknowledging that he is in his own separate universe, they're probably not going to connect the Robert Pattinson Batman to the Justice League that we've gotten already at all.
Mm-hmm.
The only ones that we have really connected here, I guess, obviously like Black Adam and Shazam are loosely connected, even though they haven't been involved in a Justice League property yet. We've just seen a headless Superman and Shazam.
Yeah. Just still so super awkward.
Flash and Aquaman are both part of it. We know that they are probably wanting to do some resetting of the Lola, I'm talking right now. You stop it. You stop it. You stop being cute and upstaging me. They're probably wanting to do some like resetting of the universe with Flash. Oh, that cat. But I don't know. It remains to be seen. It remains to be seen what they're choosing to do with this. It's all over the place. I'm gonna go see his movies because honestly, like the little bit of preview stuff that we're getting from Black Adam, where we see Dr. Fate and we see Hawkman.
Dr. Fate looks good. Oh, Hawkman looks good too.
They all look really friggin' good, and I'm pretty damn on board for Black Adam at this point.
Yeah, we saw that little preview before our showing of the Batman. So seeing Dr. Fate and that Hawkman on screen, like just popping his wings out like that, it was good.
It was cool looking. It looked good.
Yeah.
So
that was fantastic.
Also, I like the story they're going with this Shazam movie, so I'm down for it moving up.
Yeah, hurry up and give me more Shazam. It's been a while since I've seen some Shazam. It's been like, what, 2016? Is that when it came out? 2016, 2017?
That's way too early. It was like 2018. Might be 2017. I don't know.
2019.
Movie release dates.
Yeah, 2019.
Oh, it was 19. Okay.
Feels like it's been a lot longer than that. So, all right. So that being said, speaking of DC movies, let's talk about the Batman a bit. So, for those of you who have not seen the Batman and don't want to hear any spoilers, we're going to talk about some Batman spoilers. So, you could either mute your computer, put your fingers in your ears, going la 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 la, if you would like to do that. I expect that we'll probably be talking about Batman for 10, 15, 20 minutes. That's a long time to be sitting there with fingers in your ears going la 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 la. So I don't know why I'm like making it sound like you're like singing the Smurfs theme song when you put fingers in your ears, but whatever. It's what I sing. But anyways, yeah, we're going to talk about spoilers on there. So again, if you don't want to hear it, mute it real quick. If you are going to take off, if you're going to take off, you don't want to stick around for that. Thank you for being here. We will see y'all next week. Keep in mind, remember, fans of you film favorites, after this, we're watching The Mask tonight. And then you'll see whoever wins the Patreon tiebreaker on Twitter. We'll make that announcement publicly. So
also
anyway.
follow us at our social medias and me at Twitch. Twitch.tv/ChristianZLP. Okay.
Cool. Anyways, thus begins Batman spoilers. Mute if you do not want to hear. So I didn't know Robert Pattinson was playing Bruce Wayne under the Batman mask the whole time.
He wasn't. He was playing Batman without a mask the entire time.
I do like the first thing coming out of the theater was hearing everyone talking about like, man, there was a there was not very much Bruce Wayne in this movie. There was just way too much Batman. We barely even got to see Bruce Wayne. I'm like, yeah, that's why the movie was called The Batman and not The Bruce. Like, this movie was supposed to be about Batman, and it's kind of interesting. You don't think of that when you see that as a title. When the movie's called The Batman, you don't realize that subconsciously they're telling you just in the title, expect this to be primarily about Batman. You've seen plenty of Batman movies over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And a lot of them always seem to have like some kind of like Bruce Wayne's dealing with some personal inner demon turmoil, typically usually about his parents that he has to get over. This one was primarily just about Batman. It was just him being Batman. He's still dealing with stuff inside, but I think they handled that pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I like the direction they went. Obviously, like there's, you go based on my opinions. If you guys watched the Marquee this last Saturday, you go based on my opinions. I don't
based on your opinions on anything based off the Marquee.
So the campy side of Batman, I like to a degree, but not as much as like Batman 66. But I do like like I said, one of my favorite things about Batman is the villains, is the rogues gallery, because there's a lot of fun stuff that you can do with them. They're a colorful array of individuals, so to speak. So there is a world where I am tired of very serious Batman, but I also don't want hyper campy Batman. I want like what we got in the 90s with Batman, but a lot less corny than that. I don't like Dark Knight was pushing into that right. The Dark Knight trilogy was pushing into that right lane. It was still, maybe that one was still a little too grounded. That's why I say like my perfect Batman was the Ben Affleck Batman, because I feel like that Batman operated in a world where you could have the very serious tone of Batman, but along with the colorful supervillains too. And that is truly the Batman I want to see. Now, that being said, what Matt Reeves created with this world, with this Batman, I think is excellent. I think there's a lot of really good room. And that's not even to say that he can't do someone like Mr. Freeze or Poison Ivy, some of these more colorful villains in this world. It's going to be a different take on them. But I think that he created a world that is very fascinating, is the darkest Batman movies that we've gotten ever. Or right now it's only one movie, but is the darkest Batman movie we've gotten ever. But I think there's a lot of really good room to explore some stuff in it.
I would like silly Batman again, but yeah.
There's room. I mean, so this movie was not devoid of jokes. It was, it had a few gags here and there, but it was more situational comedy. Just the absurdity of a guy in a bat costume doing what he was doing in the situations that he was in and when it was going on. So the movie wasn't like void of that humor. It had it, and I think they could play into that a little bit more now that you have the audience enveloped into the world. You now have room and opportunity to do that. I'd like to see more of that in a sequel, and I think they can get away with it now.
Especially if they're definitely, and we'll probably talk more about this here in a minute, but if they're definitely looking at bringing Joker in again, make this be a Joker that is more on the silly, making jokes type of side. I don't feel like we've gotten that. Like Nicholson's Joker did that somewhat. He was a little goofy and campy in some areas, which I feel like worked for that movie. I kind of want to see that like in realistic tone though, which was funny with like the Riddler in this. The Riddler in this, of course, was modeled and very, very heavily looked like the Zodiac Killer, or at least the idea of the Zodiac Killer. He wasn't as like the goofy, smart, intelligent professional that we see in the comics, that we saw in Batman 66, and that kind of sort of even saw in Batman Forever with Jim Carrey. Just different aspects of it, but I mean, this was a completely different Riddler. I don't know. Like, I liked this take on it. I liked Paul Dano as this character. I'm not a huge fan of the take on it. I think is what I was trying to say. I don't like the Zodiac killer type of Riddler. I do like the more traditional Riddler that we're already used to. Disgruntled worker, creates games, and like the one from the animated series, that is the perfect Riddler right there. And
animated series is perfection on pretty much everything, though.
Closely followed by Frank Gorshin's Riddler in Batman 66.
Yeah, it's like the animated. So like, you look at the movie Mask of the Phantasm, the Joker that we see in that, a Joker from the animated world. That's the Joker that I would like to see in live action. I don't believe that we have hit that Joker. The closest I think we have gotten is Heath Ledger. I think Heath Ledger is the closest we've gotten to a live action version of that Joker, but even still, he was very different. Jack Nicholson did not hit that for me. Jack Nicholson he was more mob boss than he was jokester.
Joker.
Whereas Heath Ledger had more of the chaotic personality of Joker, but less of the more serious organizational side. Joker is actually an organized villain, even if he operates mostly in chaos. He still has he's still a lot more organized than the Heath Ledger Joker was, which actually, real quick, that the Heath Ledger Joker was very organized. Let's be honest. He was not operating just completely on chaos and whatever happens. He had an organized plan the entire time.
Do I really look like a man with a plan?
You don't look like a man with a plan, but you definitely are a man with a plan.
Yeah. Like a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do with them. I got one.
the Jared Leto Joker is an abomination.
Beef? You don't want beef? No beef?
They did that. They went in a whole weird direction. What I want from Barry Keoghan, when they bring him back into a future movie at some point,
let's just jump into talking about him real quick then.
Yeah. Well, we're already there.
Yeah.
I want to see something on the level of the animated series. I want to see that, like the Joker you see in Mask of the Phantasm and all that coming full front in live action there. So
yeah, and that's the thing, and like Tim's bringing this up. So this was my opinion, not just of Joker, but for Batman in general. I am so tired of them rebooting Batman movies now. And like in the grand scheme of things, there really hasn't been that many. I mean, you think of Batman 89 through Batman and Robin, that's still one Batman, even though he's played by 3 different actors in that series. That is still just one set of movies. The Dark Knight trilogy, all luckily played by the same actor this time, but that is also one series. Then we also have the Zack Snyder universe, the Ben Affleck Batman, also confined to like those 2 movies or so.
Yeah. And
now we've got this Matt Reeves one, which last I heard that they may potentially be setting this up to do kind of like the Batman the Animated Series, where they do flesh out all of Gotham, all of the villains. They do like this basically what MCU is doing with all of its characters. They want to do with just Batman and all the characters involved in that. Which that would be great, especially, well, that would be great to a certain extent. I would love to see that, but eventually you do have to bring in Superman, Wonder Woman. You would have to bring in other DC heroes. You couldn't just keep it just the Bat family this entire time. Eventually, Superman is going to have to come to Gotham.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, and then like Tim's saying here, that's what they need. Yeah, exactly. Go the Hush route, which is good because you've already got the Riddler set up in prison right now. So that is already set. And we also know that Riddler has a fairly good idea that Bruce Wayne is Batman. So
potentially.
Yeah. So all of that is set. Perfect to set up a Hush movie, which I think that is something they need to do like maybe the 3rd or 4th movie down the line with this series. But yeah, the next movies need to flesh out other villains. And that's that. Yeah, Nolan didn't need Superman, but he wasn't trying to tell that story. I'm talking about if we do go the route where we are trying to encompass all of the Bat family, so we get all the Robins, Batgirls, Batwomen, it's not awfully PC, isn't it? Bat person. You get everyone involved in that. Nightwing, like all of them are all like
you don't need Superman. You don't need him.
Eventually, though.
No. Mm-mm. You just
okay.
stay in Gotham. You don't mention Metropolis. There's no Metropolis. There's just Gotham. There's no other cities you got to worry about.
Well, I mean, they did mention Bloodhaven in this movie too, though. So they are setting up already the possibility of being outside of Gotham. I don't know if there was anything in there mentioning Metropolis. I don't think they said the name Metropolis, but I don't know if it shows up like in a crawl at the bottom of the screen for news or like in a newspaper.
Unless there's a world where WB just changes its mind completely on what they want to do with this Batman, I would not expect to ever hear the name Metropolis or anything related to Superman at all.
Yeah. But at the same time, this is not a Batman that I would see in a shared universe. This is not a Batman that could play in like potentially like the Superman, like the DCEU universe. This Batman doesn't belong in it.
The focus has to stay on this Batman and what he's doing and what he operates in his universe. It doesn't need a Wonder Woman and a Superman and all that.
Yeah. But if they do flesh it out, if they do explore that whole Batman family and all, like as many of the rogues that they can, that would be awesome.
I do like this that Matt Reeves said he wants to do Freeze next. I can see a world where they do a Freeze storyline and he has to play nice with the mob, in which case you still have Penguin involved.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see something like that, and I think that would be good.
But it's still the Mr. Freeze that's trying to save his wife.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, like, just draw a whole lot of inspiration, adaptation from the Sub-Zero cartoon movie.
I mean, based on the end of this movie, we see Batman's moving from the ideology of being, I need to represent vengeance, to, okay, representing vengeance has been a bad idea because it encourages the wrong people. So then he moves to a more empathetic superhero type role, which we see at the end of this movie as he's helping the people out of the floodwaters.
Mm-hmm.
That I think plays very well with a Mr. Freeze type because Mr. Freeze's story is very empathetic. You understand why he's doing it. He's doing it because of his love, because of his it's his wife, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing it for his wife.
Nora Freeze.
So, yeah, penguins do like ice. Yeah. So I see, like, okay, now that we've got a Batman who's going to start operating with more empathy as a hero would, what does that mean when he's up against a villain who has a very empathetic story, but he's still got to take him down because it's the right thing to do for the good of everybody else?
Yeah.
I think that would be a very interesting way to take this story next. And you can still keep Joker in the background doing whatever he wants to do. Maybe they set up a villain team up of some sort. I don't know if this franchise at this point really needs a villain team up. Like, we don't need like we're not
Legion,
a Mr. Legion
Freeze,
of
Poison
Batman
Ivy.
Doom.
Yeah, not Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, or like Riddler with Two-Face like the 90s. But maybe like definitely something that we've seen in other Batman properties before, where like a villain may need to go to another villain for like something. Like the ones I know of a lot was like was it the Suicide Squad animated movie? One of the animated movies, Harley Quinn takes everyone to go see the Penguin because they need like either money or they need something that Penguin has a hand in. So something like that, where it shows them all kind of like have a mutual respect for fellow criminals, but they're not necessarily all teaming up. And then maybe it come to find out like Harley Quinn's actually screwing over the Penguin or something like that later on down the line, where they are still lightly connected.
Yeah.
But there's no like actual honor amongst all of them.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, as far as this movie goes, though.
Loved Paul Dano. I really liked their take on Catwoman.
Mm-hmm.
Even though she wasn't so much of a villainess in this movie.
They did a little bit of that. It's one of those things where in a story they do enough of a nod to it to make you go, okay, yes, she does she does view things slightly different than Bruce Wayne does.
Mm-hmm.
She sees the world through a different set of lenses, which is understandable. Like they made it more personalized to her, and like they took the vengeance thing that Batman does, and they did it a little bit different with her. And I think that's where they were kind of playing into the she's a villain type aspect, even though she remained on the good guy side this entire time.
But I think this is, out of all the takes, not including Lee Merriweather in Batman 66, this was probably one of the better takes of Catwoman as a straightforward character. For example, Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman looks good, sounded good. Catwoman's not a crazy person. Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman had lost her mind and went a little psycho. So that was just kind of off-putting. Anne Hathaway's Catwoman, I really didn't give a crap about her at all. She had like no real personality. She was just out there stealing and fending for herself. And
to be fair, that's how these characters were written in their respective franchises. Not so much the actresses' portrayals of them. They did a fantastic job with what they were given.
But that Catwoman didn't care. This is a Catwoman that like I care for. I understand why she cares for the people around her. And yeah, I feel like this was the one that you could connect with, like just person to person. Mm-hmm. She made sense. What she was doing made sense. So
she had a very human story.
Yeah, I really liked her in this.
Yeah, they did really good thing. I would love to have seen, like, instead of a Penguin series, I would love to have seen a Catwoman series. Explore Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman in her own like mini series or whatever a little bit more, because I think there's a lot more story to her that you can tell.
The other thing I like to point out, and this is gonna go hand in hand with talking about Commissioner. He's not Commissioner, but James Gordon in this. Both Gordon and Catwoman were played by black actors, who typically that's not their character in the comics. Again, someone who is devoted to the comics. I am kind of like one of those comic book purists. I like seeing the characters as they were in the comics up on the screen. That being said, if they do hire, like, say, like a black actor, black actress to play these roles, and they are phenomenal at it, absolutely 100% okay. I think Jeffrey Wright's portrayal of Gordon is probably one of the better ones. Like, I would say it's up there with Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman had the look from the comics and stuff down.
And that's the thing. Like, if you want your comic book purist Jim Gordon, you already got that. You already got that in Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman was literally ripped from the comic book pages. Now, if you're going on that track, you have a little bit of room to wiggle around and work with that character and do something different with them. I like the decision they made for Jeffrey Wright. As soon as I heard that casting, I was like, "Yep, I know what direction you're going to go with this, and I like it."
Now, I don't want to say,
and that's the direction they went with it, and I liked it.
I don't want to say I'm like one of those that's like when they said Jeffrey Wright's going to play Gordon, I'm like, oh, why is Gordon not white? Like, Gordon's white in the comic. I'm not one of those. But I do look at it as like, okay, I see what they're doing here. I want to see how this performance is going to go. And both of them, again, Catwoman and Gordon, both phenomenally done. Absolutely no problem with that casting whatsoever.
Yeah, no.
It made sense for the story. It looked good. Both of the actors are phenomenal actors.
Yeah, Jeffrey Wright in and of himself is a very nuanced actor. He does a really good job at just sitting in scenery and just letting things happen and just letting his character feel what needs to be felt in order to react to those things. He was the standout for me in French Dispatch, that Wes Anderson movie that just came out a little while ago, or last year. He's just really good at playing just nuanced characters that, like I said, he was what needed to be done for Gordon, especially in this movie where you have Gordon and Batman working so closely together, a lot closer than you've seen them work in any other Batman movie, where they were basically acting as they were basically acting as partners in this. Yeah. And you could see why it was important to have an actor like Jeffrey Wright playing that role, because Jeffrey Wright is the one who sits in a scene with Batman, just sits back, lets Batman do his thing, and then jumps in where necessary. And you can see him just eating up that scenery with Batman being present and just knowing what to do and knowing how to do it. And just, I think pitch perfect casting in terms of what this movie was needing with Jeffrey Wright.
That scene when they've got Penguin and Penguin's pointing out how terrible Batman's Spanish is, like just that the back and forth between Batman and Gordon and that while Penguin's sitting there like, guys,
Yeah,
like that was really good. That was some good stuff in that, and it's funny because when watching this movie, the first thing that popped in my head is like, I don't know how much rewatchability I personally would have for this. Like all the other Batman movies, I've watched them over and over again, including Batman and Robin. They all have like some form of entertainment. This one it made me feel like it was more of a dark and gritty movie. As I said before, this movie was basically Seven. It reminded me exactly of Seven. I could have almost sworn that David Fincher, whatever, directed this instead of Matt Reeves.
Yeah, mixed up with William Fichtner there.
Fichtner, yeah. David Fincher, yes. Yeah, so it definitely felt like Seven. I mean, even going so far again as Riddler looking like Zodiac Killer, which was another David Fincher movie. So it definitely knew what it was relying on. I think this one's just about as obvious as that Joker movie being a nod to the Scorsese King of Comedy movie as well. So, but yeah, the film noir, the crime detective thing about this, I think it really was its own story, and then they just like plugged in Batman characters into it.
That is what I actually liked most about this movie. There's two things I liked most about this movie. The first thing is this was, like we said earlier, this was a Batman movie. We spent in like past Batman movies, like I said, I think during the marquee, you have like maybe 40% of the time you're with Batman, 60% of the time you're with Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
And you get that in almost every one of those past Batman movies. This movie was 90% Batman, 10% Bruce Wayne. And that 10% that was Bruce Wayne was just Batman without a mask on.
Yeah, because it was just him standing there staring at something.
Yeah, he was Batman the entire way through. And 10% of the time, he just didn't have a mask on. That's what I loved about it.
I can't wait for the honest trailer on this because I'm almost willing to bet they're going to point out that every single time that Robert Pattinson's on screen without the mask on, he's just staring. That's all he does is just stare.
Yeah. So that's one aspect I liked about this movie. The other aspect that I really enjoyed was that this is the most detective Batman that we've gotten in a movie.
Yeah.
You could argue Batman 66, fine. But I think as far as like a very serious grounded take on Batman, even the Dark Knight movies, while they dabbled in it a little bit, they didn't go as far as like this movie, where this movie is, you have good action scenes in it, but it is a Batman who's trying to do detective work to figure things out. And that's an aspect I really, really enjoyed, because that's a very important aspect of Batman that hasn't really been fleshed out enough in film on screen.
Yeah. Going back real quick, we talked about Penguin briefly.
Day, take it easy, sweetheart.
Yeah. Colin Farrell is completely unrecognizable. Colin Farrell is Penguin in this, why am I blanking on her name? Ancient One.
Oh yeah, Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton, her playing the old man in the Suspiria remake. Mm-hmm. Tim Franco, I know Tim Franco's here in the chat. I know who he knows who I'm talking about. But she played multiple roles in Suspiria, and one of them was an older man that she was actually credited as she wasn't credited as him at all. Like they made up a fake name for the actor playing this old man character in Suspiria, but it was actually her under makeup. You had no idea. Like even knowing that, you watch it, you still can't see her in the makeup at all. That's what they did to Colin Farrell for Penguin in this. Completely unrecognizable. I barely even recognize his voice in this.
He threw off his accent and went completely into like the New Yorker mob boss type situation.
Yeah. So what's really weird about this is if you see like behind the scenes, they say that like when they first started shooting, putting him in makeup took like 4 hours, and they knocked it down to 3, which is what generally happens like in the makeup chair and stuff. After like all the makeup artists and the actors get into the rhythm of how it goes, they start cutting down. They get stuff done a lot faster.
Yeah.
But still, 3 hours in the makeup chair to get like him transformed into completely unrecognizable. And then they're going to go and do a TV show. They want to do a TV show spinoff of this.
I think it's going to be a prequel too. Like him getting to the position he was at in the Batman.
I wonder if they're going to change like his makeup and stuff and kind of like cut down on how much makeup he wears.
Maybe
make him a lot more recognizable as Colin Farrell.
I think they might just, and that's one of the benefits to making it a prequel is, from what it sounds like, it's going to be a prequel. You can do less makeup because you're doing a younger take on him. So maybe he hasn't gained as much weight, or he isn't as scarred or wrinkly or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
He's not as weathered, so to speak. So maybe they do find a way to do less makeup and make it an easier time.
Yeah. But yeah, I like his makeup in this is so phenomenal. His portrayal. This is one of my favorite things about movies is when an actor is playing a role, whether they're caked under heavy makeup or not. If you completely forget who that actor is, that's a sign of like amazing job. Bringing back up Good Time. It took me like a couple of times while watching that movie. I was like, oh yeah, this is Robert Pattinson. And I've seen Robert Pattinson here and there in things other than Twilight. And I'm not like a big, huge like lover of the Twilight movies either, but he does have that stigma, unfortunately, that when you say his name, the first thing anyone thinks of is sparkly vampire, which he completely shut that down in this movie and in Good Time. But yeah, seeing Colin Farrell in this as unrecognizable, I completely forgot it was him the entire time. Every single time he's on screen, I just completely forgot it was him.
Yeah. Yeah. His character was just a really good one. Like I was wondering what direction they were going to go with the Penguin in this. He's not a main villain. He's barely even like a real villain in this movie.
Yeah.
He's more of just a very ancillary character to the mob in general. He exists. It's like what Matt Reeves was talking about with, putting the Joker in there. He exists in this world. He's there. We might see more from him in the future. We're going to see some of him on that HBO Max show, but we might see more of what his character does going forward in a later movie. But for right now, he's been just a very side character, and I think that's fine. I think for that character, that was okay. And I think the way they portrayed him and wrote him, I think that was perfectly fine and well executed. But I would like to see more from him in the future. I think he's going to be a character. I think he's going to be the character for this Batman trilogy, assuming there's going to be a trilogy here. Yeah. He's going to be the character for this trilogy that Scarecrow was for the Dark Knight trilogy.
It just maybe pops up and has some role in all of them.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more than what Scarecrow had in Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, but he's still going to be a through-line villain who's going to be there and exist through all 3 movies.
Yeah,
I think.
If y'all haven't seen Colin Farrell on Hot Ones, that was such a good episode. I loved watching that episode. He is such an awesome person in real life.
Did Sean Evans make him do the Penguin voice without all the makeup on?
No.
Oh, that's what I want to see. I want to see that voice coming out of actual Colin Farrell so I can reconcile it in my brain.
Yeah, even if he just said, hey, take it easy, sweetheart.
Take it easy, sweetheart.
Yeah. What else do we want to talk about this movie? Music? Music was phenomenal.
Music's good.
Yeah.
Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah. Going back and listening, like I didn't listen to the soundtrack before going to see the movie, but I've listened to parts of it since. Going back and listening to specifically the Batman theme from this movie, very well done. It was Michael Giacchino. did very well at like there's nice like subtle nods to the previous Batman themes before.
Yeah.
It's not a variation of it, but you can tell that it has the flavor of those the older themes that we all recognize a lot more. And it does something on its own and it works. It was just the music was so good.
Yeah, it's one of those the theme like other Batman themes like Danny Elfman's score specifically obviously. It has those hard punching dun 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 kind of sound to it with the bum 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 and all that. So I think I don't really worry about Batman themes in these movies anymore. I think we have a pretty good grasp of what music fits the character. I would even say the theme in Dark Knight was a top tier Batman theme also. And I think for some reason, I feel like people are overlooking that or forgetting it. They're only doing the 1-to-1 comparison of this theme with Danny Elfman's theme, which I get. I understand. Danny Elfman's score is the pinnacle, is still the peak. You think Batman, that's the song you're thinking of, and that's like because movies,
John Williams, and
yeah, and that for the Batman one, that's because it was in the movies, but they also used it for the animated show too.
Yeah, they slightly tweaked it a bit for the animated, but yeah,
a slight variation, but yeah, it is a theme that is iconically Batman. You got a little bit of that in Dark Knight. There was a little bit of there was a good theme in Dark Knight that I think they had.
Yeah.
I do like that they brought back the Danny Elfman score for a little bit with Ben Affleck. I think they did it they might have done it in Justice League. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was Justice League, not BVS, but we did hear that a little bit. Or was it Suicide Squad? No, I think it was Justice League. Anyway, we did hear the little bit of the Danny Elfman score with Ben Affleck's Batman, but I do like that they really set on their own to produce a score that feels wholly and completely Batman, that is completely different, but also still, like you were saying, has the same flavor. For me, it's the same thing as the Man of Steel theme. The Man of Steel theme, as compared to John Williams' score, I think is a great Superman theme that stands alone on its own. And I think Superman, when I hear that theme, I think they did a fantastic job with the Man of Steel Superman theme. But at the same rate, it isn't the John Williams score, and the John Williams score is still iconic and classic in itself too.
Yeah,
I think you're working with the same thing here with like the Danny Elfman score and the Michael Giacchino score.
Yeah. So loved all that. I would do like say what's his name? Alfred. Andy Serkis. I thought Andy Serkis actually did pretty decent at Alfred. There wasn't much for Alfred to do in this movie.
There wasn't.
But I do like what they had him do. He did very well, especially because my first thought with Alfred is I have a very set idea of what I expect Alfred to look and sound like. And typically I am thinking either the 90s animated Alfred or the 90s Batman Michael Gough. That's my Alfred that I like. I liked Michael Caine as Alfred. A little bit of change there, but I think it worked pretty well. I'm not a fan of Jeremy Irons. Jeremy Irons, I don't believe is especially given the age of Batman and Ben Affleck. I think they're too close together for him to be believable as like a surrogate father. I don't feel like the age range is enough on there. And Jeremy Irons still just looks like Jeremy Irons. This one I liked Andy Serkis a lot more than Jeremy Irons. But I want to see like if this movie progresses, if they progress Andy Serkis as well and make him a little bit older, seem a bit wiser type of avenue. If they go down that route, then I'll probably like him a lot more.
Yeah, they did a really good job of hitting on that surrogate father kind of aspect with Andy Serkis's Alfred, because I think they did a lot of the I cared for you, when your parents died, I was the one there for you, and they did a whole lot of Bruce Wayne trying to reconcile that as well, with the whole like he had the Wayne cuff cufflinks or whatever. And it's like, what am I? Those are my. You're not my father or whatever. He's like, no, but he gave these to me.
Yeah,
kind of like the whole like, look, your father respected me. Why don't you? Kind of a situation. Because there were aspects in this movie where Bruce did not respect Alfred or showed some disrespect to him that Alfred does not deserve. And I think that goes along the lines of how Bruce is portrayed and what he has to learn and what character arc he has to go through. But for what we did get, we didn't get a whole lot of Alfred. I do expect to get more from the Alfred character, especially with what we did get and how they did set him up as being a very pivotal member of Bruce's like inner circle in terms of getting stuff done as Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Gordon is important. Alfred is important. We saw both of those aspects. We saw both of them and how they operated and how they have to operate with Batman. I really like that aspect. And I think Andy Serkis really brought home that side of things. So yeah, I think Andy Serkis is set up for some pretty good stuff as Alfred in the future. They just didn't give him a whole lot in this one.
Yeah. I don't know what's what I'm talking about. The Batmobile is a badass looking car.
God, that whole scene.
Yeah.
That whole scene was amazing. The car chase. That scene is what would make me want to go back to the theater to watch this movie again. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to go back to the theater to watch this movie again just because of time and money and all that. But if I were, it's that scene that would bring me to do it.
Yeah, I also don't know if I want to sit in the theater for 3 hours with this movie again. And I think we briefly talked about this during like the 2-minute immediately out of the theater review that we did. This is a long movie, and it feels long too. Like that movie was over, and I felt like we had been sitting in that theater for the whole day. That was as soon as the lights came up. That was the first thing I said to y'all. Like, man, it feels like tomorrow now. Like we had spent half of our day at least sitting in that movie theater.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah. It was just really weird. So yeah, I don't know if I'm like in a huge hurry to go sit in a movie theater for that long again. And we go to a comfy theater. It's got the nice seats that recline and relax and good
food.
Yeah.
I will say,
still know if I want to do that again.
I don't think we have to worry about it as much because it does sound like it's going to hit HBO Max next month. So like WB is turning around the 45-day, I think, release schedule.
Mm-hmm.
From what it sounds like, it sounds like it's going to hit like midway through next month at some point. So,
yeah. So I'm like, I don't know. Again, I'm still of the mind that I don't know how quickly I would want to rewatch this movie. I'm definitely going to probably eventually rewatch it, but I don't know if I'm in any like real hurry. Like now, I'm in an all-fire hurry to watch No Way Home again. I cannot wait for that to come out. I want to watch that. The second it's available digitally, I'm watching it like that night. So
I'd be okay with watching it once it hits HBO Max. Should it hit HBO Max next month? So
possibly. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's definitely going to be one that I'm watching. I'll probably be like splitting that up and probably not sitting here watching that for 3 hours.
Yeah.
But otherwise, anything else about that movie we want to talk about?
I think we hit everything. I mean, it's good, solid, brooding Batman. I love the character arc for Bruce, what we're seeing from him. Obviously, he's not the billionaire playboy yet, but that's coming. I like just the early young Bruce Wayne, him like feeling out how to be Batman in certain places and kind of making mistakes and as he goes, but really kind of coming into his own and being a terrifying figure. Like I was literally afraid of Batman. They did a very good job of making him very threatening and intimidating.
Yeah, I like the costume, the way he looked and like moved and stuff. I thought it was probably one of the more believable Batmans. Like even you look at the Dark Knight, Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises, Christian Bale Batman. There's just so much to his costume that it's just kind of really unbelievable that he would have that. Or if nothing else, you would see that Batman be like, oh yeah, that's got to be like a really rich guy. Probably that Bruce Wayne who wants to like be a superhero to avenge his parents. I'm willing to bet he's probably like, you would just figure it out just by looking at him. This one, his like costume looks a lot more like almost, it's kind of funny. It almost looks like he's using hockey pads at some point.
He's grimy. He's dirty.
He has that chest plate with that knife bat logo thing in it. It definitely looks very homemade. He's not putting this together from like the what's the department at Wayne Enterprises,
the research and development or something like that.
Yeah. He's not pulling like all this equipment from R&D under like Lucius Fox's nose. It's all very homemade looking. Yeah, that okay. So a part of it I liked. Some of the like from the first person shots that was kind of interesting, even though it felt very out of place of that movie. But then when you see Batman just standing there with like the flying squirrel bag on or whatever, it looks really weird. Especially if y'all are familiar, if you've seen the Hot Toys. Hot Toys has announced the Batman figures, and they've got the flying squirrel costume that you could put on the Batman Hot Toys, and it just looks like Batman in this gigantic like bag. It's just it's really funny looking. he hit his head and should have died in this more real world. In a campy Batman, he'd survive. In this world, he dead.
He dead. Yeah,
for
sure. But overall, I thought it was a really good Batman. I'm eager to see more from this franchise and see where they take it.
It's not the Batman I was expecting, but it was the Batman that we got.
It's the one we need right now, apparently.
I guess it's the one we need. Yeah, the dark, depressing mood. Yeah, that's what we need right now. Just dark, depressing mood.
It's relatable.
Yes, we're all wanting to be Batman, I guess. Cool.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
No.
Rachel, stay with me. Rachel.
Anyways, if we are done talking about spoilers, I'm going to go ahead and remove this so y'all can unmute now that it's like 30 minutes later. Thank you for staying with us, muted for 30 minutes if you chose to do that. Otherwise, I think that's going to do it for tonight. I do want to, again, I'm going to quickly plug, once we're done with this here, a little less than an hour, I'll be over on a Fans View. We're doing a watch-along of The Mask, so that's going to be fun. Can't wait for that. Actually, I'm like really looking forward to doing that one. So go head over there if y'all want to watch it. I think The Mask is on like HBO Max, I believe, something like that, possibly. So we will be over there. Also, I want to announce the winner of our tiebreaker poll. So we have the Patreon movie watch along is going to be on Thursday the 17th of this month at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. It was down between Batman Begins and Leprechaun from the Twitter poll earlier, so we ran a poll on Patreon, and the winner of that is going to be... You're really hoping it's not Leprechaun, I know.
Really?
It's going to be Batman Begins.
Hey, let's go.
So we will be watching Batman Begins on Thursday, the 17th, St. Patrick's Day. We're not watching a movie about a leprechaun. We're watching a movie about Batman on St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
Way to go, y'all. Here's the thing. I love Batman Begins. So, I mean, I want to watch this also, but I was kind of like really hoping we could watch a goofy, campy horror movie. Like we did with Tim Franco when we watched The Stuff.
Look, there's no reason why we can't also organize a watch along to Leprechaun as well on another close by day. I'm just going to go ahead and say that I'm probably going to be twitching and I won't be there.
Well, that's the whole point, though, is for you to be there.
Oh, darn. Oh, jeez.
I want to make you watch, like, the good campy horror movies.
Oh, jeez.
I want to see if you develop a love for those, at least.
I guarantee you I will not.
Oh, they're fun, though. Give them a shot. Come on, you enjoyed... How much fun did you have watching The Stuff? It's a stupid movie. Absolutely. But it was a lot of fun to watch. It's a lot of fun to make fun of.
Let's just say I don't want any Mo.
No Mo?
I don't want no Mo.
Sweaty palm, another sweaty palm. I love that.
That's a sweaty palm. There's a sweaty palm right there.
So good. It's about time to watch that. I might see if Vernon ever wants to do this stuff again on Fans View. Anyways, that's gonna do it. Yeah, that's Batty. That's gonna do it for tonight. So make sure you follow us at Cinefanatics MLP on Twitter and Instagram. I had to like actually look over at the banner to see what it is.
So CINEF Fanatics MLP.
Ooh, Tim coming in with the wisdom.
Hey,
there.
you know what's great is I do actually enjoy life.
But if you're not watching Colonel Rhodes get his guts torn out of him in Day of the Dead, are you actually enjoying life?
Yes, I am.
Anyways, follow me, Robert Adams, MLP, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Chris, I guess you can say yours if you want.
I'm Chris Adams, MLP, awkwardly pointing. I'm Chris Adams, MLP at Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd, and as well as twitch.tv/Chris Adams, MLP, where we are currently still having some shiny hunting going on with the Pokemon and Legends Arceus, and there will be a part 2 of the Smash or Pass Pokemon Edition. Yes, you heard that right, Smash or Pass. It is exactly what you think it is. It's not me just...
They're not holding back over there. They're open and honest about what Pokemon they want to pork. So...
Yes, that, exactly.
especially if it's a pork-looking one. Like, ooh, bacon.
We're doing that. We got some family game nights coming down the line here. We're about to have, I think I'm going to try to get it involved for Sunday so we can start having family game nights sub only. So come over there, subscribe, and hang out, play Jackbox and stuff with us when I get that going. Hopefully this Sunday.
Yeah. Anyways, again, make sure y'all hop on Patreon, patreon.com/cinefanatics. Join us for the trivia hangout, which is going to be on Monday the 14th, 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. And then the movie watch along of Batman Begins on March 17th, 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern over there as well. Anyways, that's going to do it for tonight. All of y'all in the chat, thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for watching. We will see y'all next week or so, I believe. I can't remember how days work. Yeah. Oh, by the way, also our mods, Vernon and Amber.
They're singing happy birthday.
Happy birthday, y'all. Good night, everyone.
Goodbye.